Hi, everybody. Do you ever want to be magnetic? Everyone's just kind of drawn to you. Do you want to shift your energy into a space of ultimate possibility? Do you want to take deep connections with others? Do you want to be seen and heard? Then this episode is for you. This is the I Care About You podcast, and I'm Juliana J. And today we're talking about magnetism. I'm going to lay out 6 ways to become more magnetic. Of course, combining all 6 is the path to true magnetism, but even if you're working with just 1 or 2 of these, you will yield results. So here are the 6 simple ways to become more magnetic. And the more you use these techniques, the more magnetic you will become. Number 1, start hanging out with people who are what you want to be. 2, start being authentic. 3, start being vulnerable in a genuine way. 4, start being less of everything all the time and start being yourself in your own time. 5, start stepping out of your comfort zone. 6, start believing in yourself and loving yourself, flaws and all. So let's go through each one of these individually and talk about why they create magnetism and how you can do it yourself. So hanging out with people that you want to be like. If you want to be an artist, hang out with artists. If you want to be a business mogul, hang out with people who share those goals. The energy of like-minded people rubs off. The more you immerse yourself in the spaces that you want to occupy, the more you will start to occupy those spaces. This is about finding your tribe, finding spaces where you can be authentic and where you can express yourself in a way that resonates with others. When you're in a space where you're talking about things that you're interested in and the other people are also interested in those same things, and you're having an engaging conversation, it's really empowering to your soul. And when you're doing that, you kind of get excited and it's really interesting and you're really, really enjoying it. And that creates magnetism when you're fully immersed in something that you truly, truly enjoy discussing, talking about, doing, whatever it might be. And you're just excited to be there and happy to be part of the conversation. And you're bringing parts of the conversation into play with others. That's magnetic. Finding those spaces where you can be authentic and really enjoy what's happening in a true and exciting way. As adults, we're kind of taught that we shouldn't ever be really excited, and that's lame, but that's not true, because anytime anyone's excited, everyone's drawn to that. And you can express yourself in a way that really resonates with these like-minded people. Have you ever been in a crowd of people and you felt alone? It's probably because you were not with your people. It wasn't authentic to you. You were feeling the need to be guarded or a different kind of person or somebody you didn't want to be, or you're with people you don't even enjoy being with. If you have a dream, then you have to start living it. And that involves finding the people that share your dream. That is kind of a manifesting technique. There are a lot of people out there who share your ideas and your dreams, and you need to start looking for them so that you can really immerse yourself in people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, that have the same beliefs you believe, that have the same kind of dreams you do. And I'm not saying you just become exclusive into this group of people who are just like you. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is find people who have similar interests to you, who you enjoy being with, who can have engaging conversations like the ones you want to have, rather than always talking about something you really don't care about with people because you just don't share a lot of the same interests. It's about looking for people with interests that overlap with yours, dreams that overlap with yours, talking points that overlap with yours, where you can learn from them and they can learn from you. And you can be excited about that conversation, not just dulled into boredom. Number 2, being authentic. We often have no idea what it means, but at the same time, we know exactly what that means, mostly because we're not sure of who we want to be and if who we want to be fits into the social parameters of our current group of people. So we know what it is to be authentic, yet we don't know what authentic means for ourselves because social parameters are sort of pushing us into these places to be. And we don't know sometimes if that's something we chose or something we feel we have to be. Sometimes, due to the proximity of someone else or where you live or family obligations, we end up being in groups of people that we don't fully resonate with. So we conform in order to fit in. That could be in the work world, it could be in a friend groups, especially true when you're in junior high and high school. You're in these groups. You're you don't have very many other places you can go to find other groups. And so you start to conform to fit in. In conforming, we lose sight of our authentic self. And when we do that, we don't quite know where we are anymore and who we are anymore because we're conforming. So is that something I'm doing to fit into this group, or is it truly and authentically me? Have you ever noticed that the rebel in the story always has the most magnetism? Everyone wants to date the rebel. They're the coolest. They're the most admired by the peers. Often the character of the rebel is magnetic because they are the ones being authentic, standing up for their beliefs, taking a stand. Being authentic has a lot of magnetism, and it's illustrated by all those stories we know, all those movies we watch where the rebel is magnetic because they are living in their true self, going against the grain, doing what they authentically think they should be doing, and that's magnetic. They're standing up for their beliefs. They're taking a stand. In almost every story, the most beloved characters are the ones who appear to be living authentically as they are. It is the conformists and the fearful folks that are the least popular in a story, and often the characters you don't even like. Number 3, vulnerability. Okay, so I've talked about this superpower before, and by God, is it a superpower. If you can be strong enough to be vulnerable, then you can be both magnetic and authentic because vulnerability is about acknowledging your weaknesses, your fears, your shortcomings, your desires, and your dreams, and really being in tune with who you are and willing to come to a better place of understanding rather than to come in the face of defensiveness. Literally, everyone loves a human who can be authentically and beautifully vulnerable. Being vulnerable allows people to get know you on a deeper level. Being vulnerable creates safe spaces for other people to exist in. Many people truly admire vulnerability because vulnerability also is a gift for you, allowing you to live deeply into your own truth and to be able to grow and move forward in a way that others can't. If others are always in this space of defense or proving themselves or whatnot, then they can never be in the self-reflecting stage that vulnerable people often are. In childhood stories, we often read about vulnerable characters being weak or bullied, and so we never try to be vulnerable because the stories that we're being told by society are saying, don't be vulnerable because if you're vulnerable, you're going to be bullied and you're a weakling and all these other negative things, negative names. So society kind of tells us to don't cry, don't show anyone you're hurting, don't let anyone see that you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what people are talking about. Never say you don't understand. Never ask a question. But really, when you listened to, watched, or read stories as a kid, did you like the bully or did you like the vulnerable characters better? Were you cheating on the underdogs? Or were you gravitating to the sensitive characters rather than the big shots? Why? Because they're magnetic. They're magnetic because they're vulnerable. The underdog is vulnerable. The sensitive characters are vulnerable. The people who are questioning things are vulnerable. And that is magnetic. Being yourself on your own time. By this, I mean, stop trying to please everyone and start pleasing yourself. This is about inner joy, happiness, and self-love. When you start trying to please everyone, you chip away at your own self-love. But be mindful of doing things simply to be liked or to get kudos or comments for others. It's like the people who always want attention, they are the laborious people. When you start playing into their needs over time, you sacrifice yourself. Stop trying to be and be seen and just start being. Stop playing the games we think we have to do to be accepted and start doing what you love. When you do this, your tribe will start finding you. You will become a beacon for the folks who resonate with your energy. I guarantee you that they will start to see you and search for you if you are being kind to yourself and doing what you enjoy. If you're just being authentic, you're not being someone who needs attention all the time and is creating all this labor for everybody else. You're not sacrificing yourself to play that game that they're playing. You're just being your authentic self, and you're loving yourself enough to have boundaries with things so that you're not self-sacrificing, so that you're not doing things you don't want to do, so that you're not stepping out of your authenticity. And, we do live in a society where we have to conform to certain things, obviously. I'm talking about within yourself and the things that are important and the things that you can do. You can start just by being yourself on your own time. And all the other points I've listed, they all have one thing in common. It's stepping out of your comfort zone. If you want to be magnetic, you have to step out of your comfort zone and into the space of possibility. Notice every person you can think of who you admire or think is magnetic. What do? They have stepped out of their comfort zone and into the unknown. You simply cannot become magnetic by playing it safe. I am not saying go crazy and start being wild and reckless. I'm talking about starting to do a few things that scare you just a little. It might be as simple as choosing to do something that you feel is against an old pattern that you have. Like, say at one time in your life, someone told you that you can't wear bright colors because it'll draw attention to your imperfections. So you've spent decades wearing black and gray and loose-fitting clothes, but you've always loved the color green. Then wear green, my friend. Wear green. That idea you got from someone else isn't even the truth. It's just someone's voice talking. It isn't the truth. It's just a thought that you had from somebody saying something. It might be learning a new skill or going back to school or taking up a hobby you always wanted to do. Could be changing your style, wearing different clothes. It could be literally anything. It's just stepping out of your old patterns and into something different, out of your comfort zone, trying new things. Being out of your comfort zone is brave, and brave people have magnetism. Look at all the famous people you admire. Every one of them had to step out of their comfort zone to be able to step onto that stage or in front of the camera, or to put their own name on the work they do, or to put themselves out there for public scrutiny and to show the world their art, their work, their deepest desires, pieces of their soul they put out for everyone to see. That takes a lot of guts. They had to step out of their comfort zone to do that. And in doing so, they become magnetic. They had to step out into that space of uncertainty, knowing that some people are not going to like what they do and other people are going to love it. There's simply no getting around that. Stepping out of your comfort zone, and not in a way that's obnoxious and hideous and you become this attention seeker. Just in a way of you're exploring the boundaries of the world that you live in and the things you can do and the patterns you used to have, what it might be like to not be so constricted by all these patterns that you have. Okay, number 6, start loving who you are and believing it and believing in what you can do. I know this can be hard, but you are good enough just as you are. I've done a lot of podcasts on how to break the mold of self-hatred, and it's a long journey. Some of us will be on that journey our whole lives. But if you want to be happy, if you want to be loved, you have to love yourself. That's all there is to it. Allowing yourself to be loved. Allow yourself to appreciate who you are rather than to pick yourself apart. There's no need to do that. It doesn't serve you to pick yourself apart. Dwelling on the past doesn't serve you. Beating yourself up about things that you've done in the past, it doesn't serve you. Do you know what does serve you? Taking the steps to change what you don't like, to accept that you are human and therefore you are flawed and imperfect. You just have to accept that you're going to make mistakes, and it's just part of the human experience. Everyone has made mistakes. No one is perfect. There's somebody out there who's made the same mistakes that you've made. You're not alone. It's just part of being human. It's that if you take those things and you learn to love yourself anyway, or you learn from them, or whatever it is that makes those mistakes or those things beneficial to you, you can do that too. You can take the steps to change what you don't like that you're doing. If you're always doing something that you just really don't like about yourself, like gossiping, stop doing it. Just stop doing it. And it's going to be hard at first. Every time you catch yourself gossiping, just go, oh no, I don't do that anymore. And switch, change gears, move. And sooner or later, you won't be doing it anymore. It's hard, I know, but you can do it. And you are enough. Instead of dwelling on the past, look to the future. How can you make that great? Check in with the now, right now. How are you at this exact moment? Not how you will be or how you used to be, but how you are right now in this moment. In this exact moment, the past is gone and the future is unknown. In this moment, you're good. In this moment, you are alive. You are capable, and all the possibilities are present. In this moment, everything is possible. Finding self-love takes effort. Use vulnerability to find it. Then use forgiveness to heal it. Then let the love grow beyond the boundaries of your own body. That, my friend, is magnetic. When someone oozes love without judgment, then they are as magnetic as you can get. Work on that a little bit. It might be something like you make a list of those things you're not so proud about yourself, or you'd like to change, or that you've been afraid to do, or things that you've identified that do make you feel like you don't like yourself. And then work on changing those. And also just be good to yourself. You've made some mistakes. We all have. And we'll make more. But it's being able to take that and be kind to yourself about it and do what you need to do to move past it, whether it's saying sorry to somebody, whether it's changing an attitude or a belief or a thought or a way of being, whether it's just saying, I made this one mistake, it was a wrong move, but I'll pick myself up and I'll be better. And find that self-love and know that you are enough. Positive affirmations are really, really good for this. And I'll do a podcast on that. We'll talk about how to use those positive affirmations and how to create affirmations that are actually useful to you, which is one of the main problems with affirmations, is that we don't use ones that are actually useful to us. We just take them off the internet or wherever and we use those, and then we wonder why they're not working at all. So I'll do another podcast on that in the future. One last thing. None of these points are about being a dick. Okay, being authentically a dick is not authentic. This is an excuse to be a jerk for whatever reason, but usually it's because you are scared or you don't like yourself or something of that nature. So you adopt this kind of jerk personality because it keeps you safe. People don't want to get that close to you. People are afraid of you. You've created this very unsafe space for everyone else so that it's a shield. It's a shield, but also you'll never get close to anybody like that. So let go. You don't have to be scared. Whatever bull you have been told about being a man or being tough or not letting other people take advantage of you, it isn't serving you. It's repelling all the things that you want in life. And it's the opposite of magnetic. You don't believe me? Watch any movie or read any love story that has a villain in it. The villain, the dick, the jerk, never gets the romance. Why? No magnetism. Absolutely no magnetism. Sure, sometimes really heinous people get to be on the stage for a while, like dictators, for example. But their magnetism is always short-lived because they are just good at lies and faking it and terrorizing people. They found the stage because they bullied their way there. They use fear to be popular, but there's no joy in that, and there's no happiness in that. And you don't want to be that. Why do you want to be that? Those people who find that space by bullying, by being jerks, they, one, don't stay in it for long. More people hate them than like them, and they're not happy. That's not the way to go for magnetism. Jerks don't have magnetism. You're confusing the fear they're creating with magnetism. People are afraid of them, and that's why they have some energy. It's not magnetism. It's fear or hatred or something you don't like that. Fear, hatred, no safe space, hate, anger. It's all that. Okay, so this road is not a quick fix, right? There's some work to do. But if you find your way to all 6 points, the sky will open up and you will notice your magnetism growing. You will start to feel it, and you'll have to let me know how it goes. I want to leave you with one last thing, in that with all these things, while you're doing them, look for affirmation out in the world. Like when you step out of your comfort zone, remember to circle back to yourself. Wow, that felt, oh, my earring just came off. Wow, that felt great. I stepped out of my comfort zone, or that went better than I thought, or that went horrible, I'm never doing it again, or whatever it is. Does somebody say like, oh my gosh, that was so brave of you to do that? Or did you get something from it? Like maybe you went out of your comfort zone and you asked for a raise and you got it, Make sure that you are looking out in the world and within yourself for confirmation when you do all these 6 things, which I will repeat. Start hanging around people that are the ones you want to be like. Start being authentic. Start being vulnerable in a genuine way. Start being less of everything all the time, and start being more of yourself on your own time. Start stepping out of your comfort zone and start believing in yourself and loving yourself, flaws and all. So when you do these things, think, how exactly am I going to be authentic? What's one authentic thing I can do today? This. And then go do that. And then notice the positive feedback that you get from that. It's just little steps like that. Then pick something else to be vulnerable about or authentic about or whatnot. Or when something presents itself where you could be vulnerable, and in your mind, you're like, well, I could tell somebody about this embarrassing story that happened to me so they'll feel better. Or I could just go, oh man, sorry that happened. Go with the vulnerable thing. And then be sure and see the positive affirmation that comes back to you from the world. And it will. You'll be surprised. You will see the affirmations happening all the time to you as you're moving through these things. And just pick small ways that you can dip into them. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone today by wearing green. I'm going to be more authentic today by taking this class I've always wanted to take. I'm going to start hanging out with people who are like me. I'm going to join this book club. I'm going to be more vulnerable in this way. I'm going to be really authentically myself in this way. I'm going to love myself in this way. And then see the positive feedback that comes back your way in all different kinds of ways and spaces, through the environment, through the people you're engaging with, so many different ways. Signs, you might get some signs from the universe, or a billboard might say something you really wanted to hear, or maybe a passage in a book or something like that. So keep an eye out for those things and let me know how it goes. And know that I love you, and know that I support you. And I will see you in the next one, my friends. Take care.